much pressure on everybody to accept the AI. I don't know how many people are doing it. I haven't yet. It's part of everything you do, all your Zooms, all your communication. They want you to include
Well,
AI. Does everybody do it, or do you
well,
all?
the AI companion works, I think works pretty well.
Yeah,
It,
but if we had a choice, Ellen, I would vote against it if that meant that we could get rid of. We have more than 500 data centers where I live in Northern Virginia. More than
Really?
500. Yes.
Wow.
And there's 700 in the DMV area. This
Oh my
area,
Lord.
it's ridiculous, and all the energy it consumes, so that's why they're saying, "Oh, we need nuclear." It's just a horrible wheel we're on, and I would just soon be without it. But they say good things will come from it, but also
yeah.
I think some bad things will come from it.
Oh,
It's just,
yeah. So let me tell you, AI is already working for you, has been for some time in the way your credit card is dealt with.
oh,
When it knows that maybe somebody has stolen your credit card and they warn you, that's
yes,
because
I've gotten warnings about.
they have AI working for you in a different, in a different way. It's been around for some time. But anyway, so
Anyway,
who is I know there's Peace Action Maine. Who is iPhone?
I don't know who
Well,
I. Oh, I think
let's,
that's Philip. Philip was on earlier, and then he got off. So I bet
Yeah,
that's Philip.
that's
okay,
me.
Philip.
And
Okay.
I'll say this about AI. An investment banker once told me, anybody who claims they understand cryptocurrency is a fool. And anybody who thinks they can understand AI is kidding themselves. It is vast, it is indescribable,
Yes.
and we are probably 10 years from really being able to have an understanding.
Well, we're 25 to 30 years before we get what they call general AI, which is where the machine really knows what to do without any consulting anybody or having to have learnt a great deal from other things. Anyway, I
And
see
then
we are
Eileen
lots of
is
people. Mhm.
coming on, and she's our AI person. Yeah. So Eileen, we've been talking about AI. So it goes on and on. Hi. So,
I,
You're
oh,
muted, Eileen.
I don't know if you
There you
saw,
go.
Eileen, my reply when your correction you asked for in the minutes.
Yeah, I noticed you changed it. Did you? I didn't see the reply.
It was not AI that generated that. That was shyly listening to the recording. She decided what to say, you said, and then I made a little addition, and AI had nothing to do with it. Okay? So the fact that she didn't talk about um, Jeffries, the lady, she shyly makes decisions about what she's going to put in to the minutes or not. All right. So uh,
Is Shiley still working for Wilf?
she does. She's got a few more hours of internship to use up.
And
She's
she's
in Spain.
out of Madrid. Isn't that amazing?
So she listens to the recording after we've sent it to her, and then she sends me her minutes, which are, she's learned how we like the minutes to be formatted, that we need to keep the agenda numbers. She's mostly got the spellings of things.
Hmm.
I think she does a fine job. And I think the next meeting, December the 14th, will probably be her last, right, Diane?
so yeah, she's getting down. She has less than 40 hours to fulfill.
Or less than four? Well, okay.
Less than 40. Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine it takes her 40 hours to do. But is she working for other people?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're doing oral histories. And she's doing other things for people. So yeah, but the main thing is now that she has Disarm. I think that the two oral histories that we're trying to work on
Oh,
be the
good.
biggest thing, and then we'll try to get some others. But we had to get them worked out. She had
Yeah.
some copyright issues.
Okay.
Yeah. And the orientation, I keep thinking about mentioning, Eileen, the orientation. I haven't seen any publicity about it or anything.
There's no need for orientation. Um, okay. Let's talk
Well,
about
talk
it
about,
another
yeah,
time.
another time. I just wanted to say, I was hoping there'd be an e-alert or something about it.
I did I did send something to Emily. I don't know what the status is.
Okay, okay, that's good. Okay, so I think we need to start with the meeting because it's
Yes,
after time.
Yeah, Peggy's here.
And we don't have anyone. Oh, there's Peggy. Good, because
Very
she's
good.
had a couple of interesting emails that she sent out.
So regrets, Gloria's not going to come.
No.
Who else
Do
said
we
they?
actually have a quorum?
We have an informal quorum, Judith. We don't have an official quorum. Issue committees need to have over 10 people as a member of the committee to be a committee. And then it's up to the committee to decide how many people in a meeting need to take a vote, for example, if you need to take a vote.
I have to leave. I have some interference coming in. I'll come back. Let me get.
Come back, please, Peggy. So
And,
what we do is we have a sense of who comes. And so when we see that the people who usually come have arrived, then we start.
And this is a smaller, yes, Eileen?
Yeah, I was hoping Nancy Price would get on, but I was supposed to be on a call with her and somebody in New Mexico, but she was north of San Francisco and was having a lot of difficulty with reception. And if she's still there, she probably will not attend.
Okay.
Right. She didn't tell me one way or the other. Some people kindly write to me and say I won't be there.
And Ellen Thomas called me and said she can't make it. So
okay.
she won't be
All right,
on.
but she's got, so, but has the recording started then? Yes.
Yes.
We are recording
And
and
the AI started, so she'll get that.
she'll
And then
cut out, when she sends out the recording, she will cut out this informal chatter.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then she'll send it to Shiley and Shiley will do the minutes, we think, for the last time. Okay, so after this, we'll have to get note takers.
Well,
But for right now, we just need the usual thing, the vibes watcher.
You know what? I'll be the vibes person because I know it will be a wonderful, wonderful meeting and there won't be really any need for me.
I think that's true, Judith. I totally agree
You
with
as
that.
well.
Okay.
and you also mentioned Odile wrote to some of us to say she's in France, so it's unlikely she will join us unless she's up very late.
Yeah, because that will be 6 hours difference, I believe. Yeah, so that's really late.
That's 2 in the morning. Oh my God.
Yeah, really late.
All right, so we need a timekeeper.
A timekeeper, and all the person needs to do is ideally keep time and say time when the time is up, so we know, and hopefully we'll finish.
Let's see if I can get the notes out, and if I can, I will. I have to get back into
The agenda. You're looking for the agenda.
I am looking for the agenda,
Then you
which
can be a
I
timekeeper.
did not have trouble getting. I had it, and then oh, wait a minute, I did. No, that was the notes.
It's a Word document.
Well, we're talking about the agenda. Are there any revisions to it? Any revisions needed?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll notice, Ellen Mass, that I put you last in item 7.
Oh dear. Ellen, how are you?
Okay, I'm looking at the minutes. Let me get the agenda here.
Yeah. Yeah,
One
so
second.
you wanted to talk about President Scheinbaum's remarks about returning territory to Mexico.
Yes.
No,
I couldn't really see where that fit, so I put it in item 7.
I'll give a brief Mexico report and update you all. Okay.
Item
Okay.
7.
So the no revisions, so we'll be into minutes, approval of the minutes.
No new people, no new people.
Right, the no new people. So we're into the minutes, and you have already revised them once, Cheryl.
Yes.
Is there any problem with the revision?
R1. I sent out your R1 late last night.
I just checked mine. It was fine, so I don't know what the other was.
Okay,
Oh,
so I think it's given that a lot of working on it, I think it stands approved since there are no changes. Okay, so now we're into hot topics. And the first one is Gaza, Israel. And UN panel says Israel operating de facto policy of torture. Okay.
That was just a one topic to lead us off. Often Odile will tell us, but she's not here today. So I don't know how many of you saw that, but they're talking about the Palestinians who've been held in prisons in Israel, some for many years for various infractions, often, for what we would call minor things like throwing stones. Anyway, and a UN panel was allowed to investigate in some way. I suppose they sent people there to look at the prisoners and decided that they were what they call de facto policy of torture. They were not, they were being shackled. They were being held much too long in solitary confinement. They were not being fed well. And, to a degree of these nasty situations that they would call it torture. And we know that every time a Israeli hostage body is released from Gaza to go back to Israel, then several more, I can't remember what the ratio is, but some 50 or 60 Palestinian prisoners are released to go back to Gaza or the West Bank. And some of them are sometimes their bodies also. And it has been observed by doctors in Gaza receiving these people that they also have not been very well treated. And so when you have a UN panel say this, it stands as a serious allegation. Now I've been, yes.
Oh, when we were lobbying and we saw Medea Benjamin, who was lobbying at that time for the American boy in the palace in being held prisoner, he was let out last week. And he complained, and he was describing the situation, and it was horrible. All his So at least he got out.
Right. So the and if you read other things that I've well, just to say, I left my resort in San Diego at 10 o'clock this morning. I have not looked at any news since then. So I just ran into my resort here. And so if anything has happened today, but supposedly there's a ceasefire, okay? And
Yeah.
so supposedly, but we understand that nevertheless Israel continues to bomb certain parts of Gaza. And of course, they will be saying that they're attacking Hamas people. Officially, the Hamas number of killed that they keep track, right? There's an organization that keeps track of how many people have been killed in Gaza. They're over 70,000 now.
No, the last number I got was 100,000. I thought, oh my
Right,
gosh,
well, there's
getting closer.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the official ones. The official ones are 70,000 that they can prove beyond a doubt have died. What, of course, they've got is rubble, acres and acres of demolished buildings where they think there are probably people inside there. But anyway, it is a horrible number, and Trump is trying to push through his peace plan, where essentially they're put in the hands of some white Europeans to kind of be like a governor. Did anybody really pay attention to that plan? I know Tony Blair's name was mentioned. He was the Prime Minister of England, Great Britain for some time, and has been done diplomacy in his background.
We have one more minute, and I think Peggy has her hands up.
Oh, pardon me, Peggy. Yes. Unmute yourself, Peggy. No, you're still.
Okay. Uh, I, everything you're saying, we see this. I mean, we get constantly get emails saying, validating what you've been saying, and yet there's been no. We got the ceasefire, I think, because there was so much activity, so much protest, and there really hasn't been. And I'm just raising it because I don't have an agenda. I don't have a proposal. Um, but it just seems we need to get at least pick up on what we were doing, which is, I was putting an awful lot of pressure on my senator who is Jewish and should have been doing more. So anyway, I think we need something, and maybe a draft letter from us that could go into everybody, senators and congressmen, those little boxes they have, just some, or if we could ask the staff to, there are those apps.
Right. There is I put in the agenda a War Powers Act for Venezuela, but there is actually a Wars Power Act. Oh, no, that's Iran. I think
There was.
there are various acts out there that are on the floor. Well, have been put onto into some committee to not send any more weapons to Israel. There are several, okay, which I have pointed out to you in the past. And
Well, should we
partly
pick
I
up
feel,
on doing those again, sending them again?
yes, I partly, Peggy, I feel that there is a whole other issue committee called the Middle East Peace and Action Committee. And somewhat, I feel it's their responsibility to
Oh.
really lead us on what we should be doing about
And
Gaza.
Or what about just sending a message asking for that? And I was thinking of uh, asking the staff to get that app, that automatic app that we could send to everybody with a pre-draft letter or a pre-draft petition. Other organizations use that. And
That's called the Action Network. We do have an account with the Action Network, and we are. So yes, we've not been using it as well as we can. Other organizations, I get emails from other organizations like World Beyond War and Code Pink.
but we haven't gotten any mass group, even online pressure since the ceasefire.
Right. So I understand your concern, Peggy. And it's unfortunate we have so many damn wars at the moment.
Huh?
And so would you like to write to the chair of the MEP Jack issue committee? And Diane, can you remind me is it Jan Corderman that Peggy could write to?
yeah, I think Jan and somebody else shares. I think it's at Barbara Taft. I think.
Right.
Okay, so I'll just write them and tell them that
Copy
our
Linda.
committee would like for them to give us some leadership. We want some action.
Yes, please. That would
regarding this because the issue's still there. Yeah.
Yes.
And I would copy Linda Lowe too.
All right, Director.
Yeah, she shouldn't be knowing about this. So
Right. So I'm sorry, if you look back to previous emails, e-newsers, right? We have an e-news once a month. And each e-news I run through different conflicts.
I'm not accusing our leaders of doing less.
I'm sorry. I'm glad we could get this settled. It is time to move into Ukraine.
Yeah, that's
war at this point.
Right. Okay. If you can hear banging about, it's because my husband has arrived with all our luggage.
No, I haven't heard any banging, Cheryl. I think it's amazing how the background noises don't carry so much on these calls, which I found.
Yes, that's good. All right. So Ukraine-Russia war. All right. So again, this is an evolving topic.
Sure is.
The ceasefire, I read somewhere there was supposed to be some ceasefire talks in Moscow. Has anybody an updated information on that? Do we have a date?
I haven't heard.
No, I
Okay.
thought there was something supposed to be before Thanksgiving, but
Oh,
it
yeah,
didn't
no,
happen.
no.
Okay,
Ellen, you have your hand up?
I don't have any more of the very, very latest, but I have heard some of the points they were making, and that Trump is kind of halfway supporting, and it really goes along with the statement that we're presenting tonight. That is a revised statement from the earlier one, the détente statement, because it really goes hand in hand. The points that Trump and Putin are agreeing with, that Europe and Ukraine are not, of course, is that the territories are given back, and Crimea is part of Russia, which is
The
historic.
Donbass, you mean the Donbass stays with Russia?
Yes, the territories. When I say that, I'm talking about Donbass. I'm talking about Lugansk and Mariupol, all those places.
Yeah, it's, I mean,
But the Zaporizhia, where the nuclear power plant is, would be divided, and Kherson would be divided. So those two places would share. They would share in certain aspects of it, but it's nice to well, where the nuclear power plant is in
so
separate.
who would own the nuclear power plant?
They would share it.
Share it,
They would
okay.
share Zaporizhia. So I don't know who would have the plant and who. Anyway, what I'm just saying is that those are the things that they're dealing with that we can't influence. But I don't know how far, no one knows how far it's going to go, depending on, they've got to go back to Zelensky. They've got to meet with the Europeans again who are going to fight it. But we don't know how tough this is going to be and how far it's going to go. But
Right.
certainly, our little statement that we worked on together and passed is, I feel very proud of that, because it really is. They're trying for a little more broader European security that includes Russia's worries. So let's hope that this thing goes somewhere. I'm hopeful.
Right. So
I want to thank Cheryl for getting that final piece again in order. I was trying
yes,
awkwardly.
we had a December 2024 version which went to President-elect Trump and was distributed a little bit. Then in June we updated it because we realized the OCSE organization that we had suggested might be a negotiation bridge, we called it, was in fact beholden to NATO. So then, so we explained that in June, but that was distributed to our sister organizations, but never actually posted on our website for one reason or another. So then, what we've done is we've updated it again with some specific ideas of who else could try to be a negotiator. Currently, they're not using, well, they've been in Turkey, right? They've been in various places. It's not clear they're actually using any other organizations, just themselves. And sometimes Ukraine is left out, which is terrible. And there was a few small phrases that were changed. We noted the possibility of nuclear war continues, which is the main worry, because of what Putin said back in November 2024 about possible use of nuclear weapons if his Russian territory was incurred. Now, of course, I read yesterday that some Russian warships were attacked. Okay, so, but we don't know where his red lines are. He has movable red lines.
We never do.
You never do. So the point is, we have now got what I'm calling the 30th of November version, and which I sent you all. And I don't think we have to take a vote on it because it's not that different from what we all voted for back last December. Okay, so I would like to tell you that it's my intention then, and because Ellen has been asking for this for a long time, to get this one posted on our website. We'll take down the December one and we'll put the November one, okay? And I will try to work with Glenn Ruger And I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I have to go through the presidents and the co-presidents and Linda, but Linda's really quite fast at when I have a request at giving me permission. So that's I'll put that on my list of things to do. Yes, Ellen.
Can we make a notice to people in one of the cover of, let's say, statements and resolutions page to say note new, because we very often on the website, if something is new, even though it's old, we want people now to see it because it's so relevant. Some way to call attention to it on the web page.
Yes, it's the last one is put on what they call news, and I don't know that it's even in the statements and resolutions. I think to have it on what they call the news, that's like almost the homepage, I think is better. But then we should also have it put in the statements and resolutions, yes. And I certainly, when I attend other groups' meetings, if I have a URL, I put it in the chat so other people can find our things. Thank you. I see Eileen says we're done on this.
Well, we're already 5 minutes behind or 6 minutes behind
Okay.
agenda.
All right. So
diffuse nuclear war is next.
yes.
And the myths of tactical nuclear weapons and limited nuclear war. You put a
So
link.
that is a very detailed. It's 87 pages long, I think. So, but it's I've given you the PDF version there, the URL to it, put together by an expert back from the brink. Okay. Tactical nuclear weapons, those are supposedly the small ones that are supposed to be just used on the battlefield. They're not dropped from above. Somehow they're exploded on the ground, but they're actually very large and will kill a lot of people. And limited, and so using them, supposedly leads to a limited nuclear war. So this long report points out that those are myths. There is no such thing as a limited nuclear war, and so on. So please take it from the agenda, and you'll be able to get it and one day have a look at it. Sometimes there's an executive summary often at the beginning of these reports. So you only just need to read the executive summary.
I hope so.
So diffused nuclear war itself hasn't, they occasionally have webinars and things. And they, of course, keep track of the Vandenberg, the launches of the ICBMs for testing from Vandenberg. There was one on November the 5th. And we weren't able to have anybody standing there at this time. But there was a very good op-ed that I believe you've been sent the link to it, written by the Scott Yunt from Tri-Valley Cares and another person, with a lot of details about the issue of the not resuming nuclear weapons testing explosively. So that continues to be a problem, and that actually goes into our next campaign report. Ellen?
The Putin has said that, and this is global news. I'm surprised we don't have it. He's offered to do the START treaty for.
Oh yes, yes. That we said this in previous meetings. He said he would actually let it run another year. Okay, this is limiting how many nuclear weapons Russia and the US are allowed to have deployed, which means ready to launch or drop or fire from a submarine. So
maybe we can support that.
Yes, we have. To our knowledge, President Trump and his cabinet have not replied to this generous offer. So it is very annoying, and we have people like the Arms Control Association writing and to Trump, and I think I sent you a link to the senators who wrote to Trump about not resuming explosive nuclear testing. So if we can just go to 5A1, little one, that is the Restrain Act, which I've listed there in the agenda. HR, which means House of Representatives, 5894. And that's to prevent any explosive testing by not spending money on it and just by not doing it. And that is a House of Representatives bill. And so it needs more co-sponsors. It has about 17 or 18 at the moment. So this is, and there is the link to its description. And so Back from the Brink also has resolutions out, H-Res 317 and a sister one in the Senate Res 323. These are again asking that people not fire, first, and so on and so forth. These are resolutions been around a long time, actually. The point is, we want you all to write to your House of Representatives person and your two senators to ask them to co-sponsor these particular acts, especially if they're Republicans, because unfortunately, there's a whole list, they're all Democrats at the moment. We need to get some Republican representatives on the side of these resolutions and acts. So this, the Secretary of Energy said, "Oh, no, we wouldn't do explosive testing." Essentially calling the president wrong, which he was. And they already do a lot of subcritical testing out in the Nevada desert underground, where they don't actually let the chain reaction proceed in the nuclear material. And so then they also have very fancy computer programs using old data. All those tests which we did do, hundreds of tests were done in Nevada. A lot of data was taken in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. And they've got that data, and now they can feed that into their fancy computer programs, which are much fancier than they used to be, and work out if our nuclear weapons will work if they're needed. Of course, we're trying to persuade people that they should never be used, but this proves if they would actually go off in the intended fashion. And the heads of Los Alamos Lab and Lawrence Livermore Lab every year have to send a letter to the president promising that they are sure that our nuclear weapons will fire and explode when they're needed because of all this other work that's being done. So anyway, so that was item one. Did somebody have? Okay, here's Robin. Good, I'm glad Robin's joined us.
Yeah, Robin.
Yeah, so we don't, Norton's bill is out there, the same, I say not discussed, but it's HR 1888. And that's the one that, again, especially if you have a Republican congressional representative, ask them to be a co-sponsor, please.
Okay, so the next item is Venezuela situation.
Right.
And you want us to ask our reps to co-sponsor HCON?
It's a concurrent.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
It
that.
means yes, an H concurrent means it applies to both the Senate and the House. 51.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, I'd never heard of a concurrent.
Numbers, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yes. And so here we have, which directs the removal of US forces from unauthorized hostilities against Venezuela. So it's a war powers resolution. And I see that Ellen just put in the chat for us. I need to open the chat myself. She's put a link there to an article from Popular Resistance. And as you know, the US is bombing these fishing boats, claiming that they're running drugs, and with absolutely no proof. And even if they were, you don't bomb them out of the water. The best you could do is take the Coast Guard and arrest them, but not kill them. So I'm sure you're all reading about this. So it's very important that we deal with this. Yes, I see Judith's hands up. Judith, hands up.
Hands up. Just a quick question. Who is sponsoring this resolution? I mean, you want others to co-sponsor,
Yes.
but somebody must have put it up there.
Yes, somebody put it up, and I'm sorry, in my rush, I did not give you the URL.
Tim Kaine,
Okay.
and someone from Ohio have both. I sent an email that the news was just out a few before we came on, and there's bipartisan action in the armed services, and I think also see the article I sent in email. But there's action on calling for an investigation on Heggs, whatever his name is, Heggs' call for killing everybody.
Oh, his remarks are
Yeah.
just atrocious.
So it's exciting that there's bipartisan
But there's some
motion on this.
bipartisan.
Yeah, I'm not quite. I think we should do something.
Well, one of the things that's coming up again and again and again is this Lancet article talking about they've actually been able to calculate even more data on the death of children with the sanctions kill. So basically, this popular resistance is another one that goes beyond some of the regular opposition.
So now you're saying the sanctions against Venezuela have forced some people to have such little food that they've died. Is that what you're saying, Ellen?
Yeah, they've calculated. Lancet, the famous British medical journal, has been able to do that, and then out of that, they're doing campaigns, and that's even within WILF, within the Bolivarian Alliance, and with other people. But this particular article was particularly a lot of new information about the relationship.
Are you able to put your hand on that, Ellen?
Yeah, and send it to us because
Or put it in the chat.
library for that one.
It's been around for a month or so. It's been discussed quite often.
The Lancet article?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I will look in Lancet and
Well, if
you know,
anybody,
I'll just be a
nevertheless,
regular reader of it.
yeah.
Yeah, it really focuses on children.
Okay.
And the HCON Resolution 51 is sponsored by Representative Omar Ilhan, Democrat from Minnesota 5.
That's
so
more familiar. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Kane has sponsored a lot of things. He keeps trying to get Congress to authorize war, not the president. But
I like to support Ilhan. She's the first person who has stood up to Elliott Abrams and broke the ice when she first came onto Congress.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
And remind me, who's Elliott Abrams? I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Elliott Abrams is the mastermind of intervention in Latin America. He was the man behind Contra, the Iran Contras, and he was finally convicted of a war crime, but then he's just the penultimate of Latin American evil.
Yes, that's a good word for it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be. I thought Trump was going to put him in some high office.
He is. I think he was appointed head of Venezuelan policy.
Oh my God.
Something. Yeah, he was. There was a big to do when Trump came on, and then I haven't heard anything more.
Well, we see what's happening.
Yeah, you think he's behind this Venezuela business?
He's certainly with it. I don't know if he's getting old, but
yeah, that's true.
He's the same person, and the policy is getting worse. I mean, kill him. Just better. He missed a few. Better kill some more.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Senate's going to prove it because the November 6th vote that they took only missed by one. It was 49 to 51. So I think
there's the 6th on the War Powers Resolution.
Yeah, it was. Now that was by Kane sponsored. Yeah. So and that was so close. So I think there's a good chance this will all happen.
Yes, because that's what they have to do is they have to keep bringing it back.
Yeah.
make a new resolution and then force the
Question.
Senate to come up and say how they want to vote, and hopefully we can change some minds. Okay, well, that's
Eileen is next for
The
the,
same thing that we said that we were going to ask Linda Lowe to do about some action on Israel. Could we please ask them to do something on this?
your
You're gonna
Cuba.
write
To
the
have
letter.
something that goes to everybody that can be an automatic send.
Well, there was an e-alert in the past 2 months about Venezuela.
I
Well,
remember it.
we need something now with the pressure on Hegseth is
All right,
I mean,
you are
there's
pressuring.
beginning to be bipartisan pressure on him, and it's about the Venezuelan policy, and that will redound. Actually, some people think that this is really just staging for Cuba, but our Cuban, the Wilf Cuban Bolivar Committee, I'd like to hook up with them. What
Well,
So
should I just go on the Wilf thing and look for
Yeah,
their
Lenny,
yes, yes,
talk to Lenny. Yeah.
they
talk
have
to him?
they have a chair. They have an email address that you can find by going to
Okay,
all the issue
okay.
committees. And yes, it would be if you could do that, that would be great. Now, the other thing, this was really reports on our actions with our coalitions. I haven't been to so many webinars recently. Did anybody else attend something?
Well, that's where I picked up what I'm reporting. Was in the E list of World Beyond War. There've been a lot of exchanges there.
Okay, thank you. And heads up on future webinars. I know, well,
Well, you asked for that, and I noticed that in the agenda. I don't know. I listen to Glenn Deason. I don't like to listen to webinars and YouTubes, but I do listen to him because he has guests which give a lot of information I know I wouldn't get,
can
mainly
you
about
spell his
Europe.
name? Spell his name, please.
Glenn Deason, Diesen.
V-I-E.
Diesen. He's a Norwegian political scientist, and I don't know how he's been able to continue broadcasting the things that he has, but he interviews people that really expose a lot.
Okay. Well, if you have to hand an invitation to such a interview,
Okay, I'll
you
just
could
send it
put it in,
to the business group or the.
or you could put it in the chat now, or you can send it to the Disarm discussion
Well, I
group.
don't have his address right now. I just
Oh,
know.
yeah, send it to Disarm Discussion, then everybody gets it.
Not
Okay.
necessarily his address, but if there's an advert for a future webinar, or there's a recording, most of these people record
Yeah,
things,
he records something every day. So
and then you have he sends you the URL where to find it. I mean, that's what I do. Especially if I know that I cannot attend a particular thing because it overlaps with something else, I register anyway, and then later you get the link to the recording.
Hopefully.
And with a bit of luck, sometimes I will listen.
Exactly.
But anyway, so I try to forward some of those to all of you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's helpful.
The big thing coming up that Peggy you're referring to and can probably help move this along on Latin America is I just put it in the chat. This is a really big one that the Bolivarian Alliance, that group is behind, although it's coming from some other group. But
You have popular resistance here. Is that you've just put one thing in? You put a second thing in the chat?
December 3rd, yes.
You need to hit the.
Oh, got it
Here we
now.
go. Yep, there it comes. I've done that. I type it in and then I forget to hit the send. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to
December
be
3rd.
an important one. There's just register. You'll see when you look.
Yeah, Margaret Flowers and Suka. Great. Doctors Against Genocide. Thank you. Thank you very much for that information.
Oh, that sounds really good. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
And
Okay. Next, I guess.
Yeah, so Gloria isn't here, but I wasn't. Yes, so you're up now.
Okay, I'm going to do 8 minutes as close as I can. First, it's Eileen. I'm reporting on the AI in Massachusetts first. 10 days ago, I ran into my Massachusetts rep, Amy Sangiulo, and I talked with her about my concerns regarding AI, R&D, and training hub coming and supposed to be coming to Holyoke, Mass, and other places in Mass too. She was interested in seeing the California law that got passed and in late September, and also what New York is doing and trying to regulate AI. So I sent copies of both to her about a week ago. I'm waiting for an answer. My big talk tonight, though, is about something I'm working intensely on for the past 10 days. It's New Mexico, which has far greater worries than what Massachusetts has. Its citizens are going to be subject to missile defense building plans, contamination, and also AI. And so I did background check. New Mexico already has been unable to clean up a mile-wide contamination stemming from labs at Los Alamos. Cleanup started but was not completed. Also, comprised of 3,200 square miles, the White Sands Missile Range supports the Army, Navy, and Air Force, and that's in New Mexico, as well as commercial and international users, while conducting more than 3,000 military tests annually. White Sands Missile Range has a museum, historical sites, and is the home of Trinity Test Site. It is fairly near El Paso, as is Fort Bliss. Both are important. I know as one of the largest Bliss is known as one of the largest military installations in the U.S. It's located primarily in El Paso County, Texas, with a portion extending into New Mexico. Now, New Mexico plans going forward are best described by Elaine Semino, an environmentalist and activists trying to stop or regulate defense-minded projects. Quote unquote, this is long. Over the past 8 months, two major defense-linked industrial projects, Project Ranger, which is headed by Castellian Company from California, and Project Jupiter AI, have moved through New Mexico's land, water, and economic development systems with strikingly similar patterns that includes compressed timelines, missing public processes, invisible federal nexuses, absent environmental reviews, and coordinated pressure across multiple layers of government. New Mexico has become the testing ground for a national strategy to fast-track hypersonic weapons manufacturing and data integration nodes into state and local jurisdictions with minimal scrutiny. And she goes on, Ranger and Jupiter are not isolated anomalies. They are early indicators of a systemic framework that will replicate quickly unless stopped, end quote. In other words, Elaine has concluded that projects Ranger and Jupiter are necessary to make an effective Golden Dome, which was once called Iron Dome. This was confirmed by my reading of Bruce Gagnon from, northern Maine, well, southern Maine actually, in his Space Alert. It's the winter news I get from him, which states that there are already extensive missile defense programs going on, hypersonic, ballistic, satellite tracking, detection, infrared, etc. The aim of the Golden Dome is to combine these and new components, such as space-based interceptors aimed at intercepting missiles soon after launch. Yeah, same one, Robin. I haven't finished the whole thing. I can't read yours and mine at the same time, so don't do that. Um, if you saw the film House of Dynamite, those watching out for U.S. security did not know where the nuclear missile came from, which is what Golden Dome is trying to do. The news added that over the past 70 years, the U.S. has spent more than $500 billion on missile defense, according to an American Physical Society report. Golden Dome would be a colossal waste of resources when the U.S. has a $37 trillion debt. And President Trump's administration is very interested in this integrated air and missile defense system. Now going on to Project Ranger and Jupiter. This is not, well, not as long. Project Ranger is a hypersonic missile motor and detonation factory, not simply manufacturing. It includes ammonium perchlorate. Think explosive with those words. Explosive testing in general and live fire rocket infrastructure. It is sited next to residential communities without their knowledge or consent. One report Castellian will be making indicated Castellian will be making missiles that can go up to 160 miles. I'm thinking Mexico with that one. It is located on a high wind mesa near the center of Rio Rancho, approximately 17 miles from Albuquerque. Rio Rancho experiences high winds and the ground is somewhat porous. Lots of contamination and spread, in other words. Project Jupiter, on the other hand, is a plan to build a huge data AI focused campus near West El Paso, New Mexico. The South New Mexico News indicates Austin, Texas based company Borderplex Digital Assets will invest $165 billion for the project. The county commissioners approved of the deal 4-1 on August 26. On October 20th, Meta announced a $1.5 billion deal to build a 1 million square foot data center in El Paso, scalable to 1 gigabyte for advanced AI tech. The project is anticipated to create 2,000 jobs, including 1,800 construction roles at peak and 100 full-time operational positions.
That's not very much.
Why are you waving? I'm not finished. I need another 2 minutes.
I'm just wondering why we're hearing all this. Do we have a branch in New Mexico?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Yes and no. We have a Jane Addams branch there, and guess who's in Albuquerque? A former president called Mary Hanson Harrison.
That's right.
Okay. The jobs were appealing for many, even though most would only be on construction. As you probably know, data sensors can significantly contribute to water contamination, primarily through the use of chemical-laden water for cooling systems and the runoff from operations. Companies can implement, however, high-cost advanced water recycling technology, but will they? These companies are distrusted by the community because they frequently don't follow regulations or transparency regarding their water usage. They can consume up to 5 million gallons of water per day, which strains local water resources, and El Paso happens to be in the Chihuahuan Desert. Because of its location on the border of Mexico, the contamination is likely going to go into the Rio Grande, this is my interpretation, River into Mexico. So, this is the story of New Mexico. Nancy Price and I got involved through an article Patrick Elder sent us a couple of weeks ago because of his hazard concerns for Rio Rancho residents. And I don't know. Oh, in the third largest city in New Mexico. Rio Rancho is a good size. Former Wilf president Mary H. lives in Albuquerque now. She is getting involved, hopefully along with several Jane Addams branch members. We have been contacting members. Now I ask you, do any of you know New Mexico residents to contact?
Yes,
Yes, yes, I do. I do.
I do too.
Let
I
me
just want to
know.
thank you for paying attention to this so much. And it is the most it's critical, and I appreciate it. I want you to know, because it's confounding. I'm really confounded by it and sort
I'm
of numb
overwhelmed
out
too.
when I try to focus. So I'm grateful to you for trying to make me focus, and I appreciate any leadership.
But don't you remember the Trump press conference? Well, maybe not. I started to send notices to Cheryl about when these press conferences were. But that was one of his main things, is that he's going to massively develop AI to billions of dollars, and he's going to and then there was the knowledge couple of well, last year, that a nuclear development is going to go bonkers, lickety split, with quadrupling the amount of nuclear investment,
Yeah,
nuclear research. So this goes along with that. I'm glad you came down to a specific situation that we.
yeah. So Eileen, so I'm on the email list of various other organizations that really focus on all these things happening at Los Alamos and the White Sands Test Range, and they tell me, because they go to the hearings, they try to get hearings on these projects. They send people, they send lawyers to complain that the EPA isn't being followed. Of course, Trump is trying to savage that Environmental Protection Act and the Clean Water Act and all that. So don't feel that nobody's already paying attention to this. There is a great deal of attention being paid by various organizations who've been working on this for a long time. Doesn't mean you can't add Wilf's voice to it, especially if we have people living in New Mexico. So that
I have a question about that. I have one member who is in Santa Fe. She said she's involved with a team there that worked very hard to clean up the Los Alamos spills. And there's at least one attorney in that group. Are you talking about any attorneys that are in that area?
I can't say off the top of my head, Eileen. Earth Justice is an organization I've given money to for decades, and they have lawyers. They have 400 lawyers currently working against all the things that Trump is trying to do to undo all the laws that have been carefully created and passed these past 35 years. So and they help other organizations. They go in, they're pro bono. I give Earth Justice money, and then they pay lawyers so that other organizations don't have to pay the lawyers, but they get the use of the lawyers. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of work being done on this. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to,
Oh,
help.
why not all of these groups join together? That team that I'm talking about that's in
Yeah, well,
Santa
yeah.
Fe and Earth Justice.
Well, because, somebody has to suggest it to them.
Guess who's going to do that?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it
you do
doesn't
that,
make sense
Eileen.
that we're all doing this on the
I will forward you. I'm going to make a note to myself to forward you some of the emails I receive from some of these groups, okay? Because it seems like you're not on their email list, but you must have read. So this information you just read out to us, you got that from where?
Her name is Elaine Camino, and then lots of extra research.
Right, and when you did the research, you must have found something that you were able to put into this little talk you've just given us, right? So you found some things already.
Well, I've been Googling left and right.
Yeah.
I suspect that Elaine is on Earth Justice. She's well informed. She's actually incredible. It's a shame she was blocked from becoming a lawyer. She's got that mind, it's
Right.
phenomenal memory as well.
Right. So can you spell her name for me?
Elaine, Elaine, Simino, Cimino. I, I wouldn't
Okay,
doubt
fine.
it if I find out she's Native American. A lot of
Mhm.
her lands, a lot of her people have been affected by this.
Right, that's why she's fighting against this. So the other things I wanted
And
to
she's
say,
not well herself.
okay,
She's
all
doing
right.
this because and putting off some care she needs right
Mhm.
now. She knows this is timely. She's afraid to go in and get care for
Mhm.
fear she would lose too much traction. She does have some help though.
Okay, so regarding the Golden Dome, you quoted the American Physical Society, which is my professional society, when I've been mentioning to you that we did issue a report that shows that the trying to intercept an ICBM coming, for example, from North Korea is nigh on impossible, and so that the concept of the Golden Dome will never work. There's been a lot of calculations, math and engineering calculations to show that it can't work. And the Iron Dome that you mentioned is what they call what is protecting Israel from much smaller rockets going much slower and not coming very far, being lobbed into Israel from Lebanon and Syria and places like that. So the Iron Dome works because the missiles that it's shooting down are going much slower than a ICBM would go. They're not coming so far, they're not so high in the air, and they're not so big. So that's why the Iron Dome works. And to say that therefore a Golden Dome will work is totally physically impossible. And it's so annoying that Trump and his cohort keep talking about wanting it. Okay.
May I comment on that too? Because if you recall, Iran got some of its drones through the Iron Dome that's supposed to be so good. And that's
Oh,
number
good.
one. Number two, the
Yeah, the Iron Dome is
Golden
quite
Dome
successful.
is not mentioned in the film, but in the film House
Yeah.
of Dynamite,
Let me tell you what that is. It was the ground-based radar that failed, right? So we have radar out there scanning the skies. We have satellites scanning down. We have float. You saw the floating. There was a floating. They showed you a quick shot of looked like an oil rig, but it was actually a floating radar system to see when these ICBMs are coming. That's what failed in the House of Dynamite. That was the initial explanation of why they suddenly saw this ICBM at a later ground radar uh, base, didn't see it early enough to see exactly where it was coming from. Okay, so that
they're
is
trying to correct that with the Golden,
no,
which
well,
is part of
maybe
satellites.
satellites, yeah,
It's an intermingling of all the defensives that already exist that are supposed to be quite good.
yeah, well, but the ones and they test trying to actually shoot down. So in House of Dynamite, they have a missile that they send up, right, to try to shoot down this unknown ICBM
Like
coming.
trying to hit a bullet with a bullet,
Yeah,
right?
and it didn't work, and that's the testing they do. They actually test those, and it's like 50% of the time they manage to do it.
The
And
coin
they
toss.
actually, they've been told where it is, they know where it is, and they still can't shoot it down. So those are well-known statistics, and that's why the House of Dynamite was able to use that in
Yeah.
this scenario. Anyway, so yes, it is, and the fact that New Mexico has greatly suffered from all the nuclear weapons enterprise and
Sure.
continues to suffer, and so trying to help them is a good thing. So I appreciate you telling us about it, and you've got that written down, and so you're going to send that to me, and so I can give it to Shiley, so we can put at least a summary of that into
Well,
to
it's
the
hard to
minutes.
summarize. I do have a little bit more detail. You can believe how I whittle things because I'm an inductive writer. Ellen, you have your hand up.
Oh, I just put it in the chat.
Oh.
So that's what I wanted to say, that we have to, we've already, Wilf is thorough, and people who took that book discussion, we had a full Wilf-wide discussion on this background by Annie Jacobson's Paperclip and Eric. Well, I think we just did Paperclip, but I read Area 54, the New York Times bestseller. It was all about the background to the nuclear testing in it was New Mexico, but it was also another state.
Nevada got most of the
Nevada.
testing.
Yeah, Area 54 was Nevada.
Right.
So, but that gives us the background to that whole buildup. Because she interviewed all the people who actually did it. She interviewed employees 90 years old that had been there when it was building up. She really.
This is right. So this is the earlier books by Annie Jacobson. She's the one who wrote a nuclear war a scenario, right?
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure? Okay. Yeah, it was her. Yeah.
So she's done a lot of investigated a lot of work. Yes, Peggy.
Well, I just want to inject the AIA and data center phenomenon, aside from how scary it is, I'm learning from my son who plays the market.
Yeah.
That is the bubble. That is the only place where profits are being made on the stock market. And that needs to be exposed because when you were reading that, Eileen, I mean, there were the amounts of money that were being put in by these major billionaire techies. And I was thinking, where do they expect to make money? Who do they think they're going to make money from, and for what? We're going to sell ads anyway. Where they make money is selling it to other people who think that they're going to make money.
Right.
Well, this company that is supporting the AI Meta project has a lot of bonds that they have gotten, and I don't know whether you can back out of bonds. I mean, you go bankrupt on bonds. I don't see why not. Every other vehicle.
That's what Argentina's all about.
Okay. I have a feeling there's going to be a big depression.
Right.
That's what Mexico was about, actually, before Juarez. It was.
Yeah, so I mean, my Mercury News often has on their business pages articles about, are we going, is this a bubble? When is it going to burst? How badly is it going to hurt the stock market overall? So, there are people noticing this is likely to be a problem. NVIDIA, which is sells the chips that run in these servers that do the AI programs, continues to make money because they make these amazing computer chips that go in. You've got computer chips in your computers, but they've got them also in these enormous serving banks and banks of what they call servers, which are independent computers running. So they do image processing. It's, when you see a very fancy Hollywood film with amazing special effects that are really not real, they were all generated electronically. They are using the NVIDIA special chip for image processing. Okay, so
Thank you.
I see Joan has finally come in.
Hey, Joan.
I don't know why you couldn't find it, Joan, because everybody else managed to find it. And anyway, so you're here, so I'm glad you could make it. Can we move on?
That was too long.
It was interesting. Okay,
Yes.
so the next thing is about the New Start, HRES
Yes,
100.
yes, right. This is the one that Alan mentioned briefly. So yes, New Start is going to stop on the 5th of November. Excuse me, 5th of February, 2026. And so I'm helping various coalitions to bring attention to this. And there are two resolutions, right? In the House, Resolution 100, in the Senate, Resolution 61, which call the federal government, President Trump and his defense secretary, what have you, to actually start negotiations to replace that New START treaty. And there you have a document in the agenda where there are templates of letters for you to send. There's a letter to send to the president, a different letter to send to your representative in the House, a different one to send to your senator, and they may even have in that particular Google Doc that I've put in the agenda, how to write an op-ed about this. Okay, this is one of those op-ed letters to the editor topic, and so that's these are the New Start is essentially the only outstanding arms control treaty that's still standing. It only is standing between Russia. It's only between Russia and the US, but as we own, I don't know, 90% of all the nuclear weapons, that's why it's just between Russia and the US. Other people are trying to get China to join another arms control, but they're resisting that. So that's essentially what, again, hopefully you can send something using the templates in that Google Doc, some samples. Of course, always you must slightly change some of the words, make it, I'm where I live and why I'm worried, because staff in our representatives' offices are counting how many things come in. Okay, and they can notice if there seems to be 100 that are all the same, right? 100 letters all the same will count for less than 100 letters that are a little different from each other. Okay, so please, if you do this, go ahead and make some changes in the actual words.
Okay.
So because what we went to lobby and what I've heard is if they don't hear from the constituents that they're worried about topic A, they won't do anything about topic A. Okay, so we have to keep bringing it up to our representatives. All right. So that's all I had to say on that.
Okay, so Robin's next with AFRICOM and the Burlington branch November 11th webinar.
I just wanted to react to what Cheryl just said. I mean, I think all of us, for better or worse, come from progressive constituents. Like my guy, Bernie Sanders and Peter Welch. I think they already agree with these things, and however,
Yeah,
I continue pestering them
do that
now and then, but it
because
doesn't feel as urgent.
right, but even if they're progressive, and I'm the same here in Palo Alto, we have progressive people, you still have to be banging on their door about your topic because
Yeah.
nevertheless, they're counting and they've got so many other things to worry about. The whole government shutdown business took everybody's mind off of virtually everything. And then now they're trying to get back. And then, it's going to come up in January. This shutdown was only closed down until January, January, I think it's January the 31st, is it? And then if they still have to pass things at that time. So it's not over yet. Anyway, so this is unfortunately taking the minds of many of our political representatives. But you had this interesting thing on the November the 11th, Robin, which we hope went well. I wasn't able to attend.
Oh, okay. Yes, and I was just looking at my my notes from then, and I'm not quite sure what what I was meant to send you. Apparently, Martha Allen from the DC branch, whose mother was Donna Allen of Women Strike for Peace, she was on that call. And the issue was sending money to Palestine through Wilf, um, Wilf Israel, or is there a Wilf Palestine? My notes are kind of
There is, there are none of them living there, but there is a Wolf Palestine.
uh-huh. And trying to and through a core bank account in Switzerland. So they've figured a way to actually get money to a Wilf branch in Israel or Palestine. They're talking about $7,500. That's what my notes say. So also Wilf Palestine has found an office in Jerusalem. That's part of the MENA section, Middle East, North American section,
North African.
and conflict. And at the end of the meeting, there was discussion that unfortunately there's conflict between Wilf Palestine members, and I'm not quite sure what that was about, but you know, our branches and sections down there are very important to try to help them survive. And I'm not quite sure who the name of the person that one would send support messages to, but um,
Was your meeting recorded, Robin?
uh, I think so, and I haven't looked for it yet. I will look for it right now.
Mm-hmm. Did you use the Wolf Zoom account, or did you somebody else provide the account?
I think I provided the
You
Zoom
provided
account.
right, because if you recorded it yourself, it'll be there. It'll tell you.
Uh, okay, I will
Well, anyway, trying to get money to the Palestine people, and this it seems that when we have a branch in a section is what they're called. If we have a
section.
section in a country that's essentially, in conflict, often there are differences of opinion as to how those section members should help bring the conflict to a close. That's what's happened in Ukraine. There are many Ukrainians who say keep fighting, and I suspect there are some Wilf Ukrainians who say keep fighting, and then there's some other Wilf members who say no, let's go for diplomacy. So this is an unfortunate occurrence, and we have, unfortunately, several sections in countries that are in conflict, either with other countries or in civil wars going on. You'll find differences of opinion.
Okay, Peggy has her hand raised.
Well, that's what Cheryl just addressed is in contrast, is the balance to what I wanted to say when Robin began, because two things. It's a real endorsement for the method of grassroots write your congressman that that Cheryl was just elaborating over and over. I just had two experiences. One, a letter from a European who said, "Oh, you all are so worried about fascism. You are stopping fascism. It took us wars and things to stop fascism. You are already active stopping fascism." And the other is a contrast of a friend of mine I just found out, an 89-year-old guy who was the ambassador to Venezuela from Spain. made a huge difference in terms of raising consciousness and sympathy in Europe for the Venezuelans. He was set up. I know because of experience. I know he was set up. He was set up. His son was set up for the Venezuelans gave an oil contract through his son for very much like, almost exactly like Biden, Hunter, and Burisma. This is what happened to my Spanish friend, Raul's son, Raul, and Venezuelan oil, set him up to discredit him.
Mm.
When I found out from a very progressive socialist journalist about what had happened, but absolutely no one, not the person who wrote this article, nor then I started Googling looking for, there was no expose in Spanish in Europe, in Spain, exposing or even making an attempt to expose who would have been behind, who wanted to pump, to control how much oil is pumped from Venezuela in order and to in the process discredit my old friend, who I'm not going to elaborate more, but he had made some other huge contributions to Spain and Europe. But he was, you get, but there was no effort in Spain to resist this or even to recognize it.
Mm.
So we're not so bad off. That was my point. And bugging us and bugging each other to write letters to our congressman is a good thing.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Well, thank you for 110 years.
what's for 110 years?
Oh,
Oh, wait.
This kind of practice.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there will Beyond War had 2 days of African conference going on, and I wasn't able to go either day. I was wondering if anybody,
Thanksgiving.
huh?
It was over the Thanksgiving weekend, right?
It was Friday and Saturday, I
Okay.
think. Or maybe it was Thursday and Friday.
No,
Anyway,
it wasn't Thursday. I think it was Friday, Saturday. Yes. Mhm.
no, actually, it was Thursday and Friday,
Oh,
Cheryl.
oh
Yeah, I
dear.
have it on my calendar. Yeah, so
Well, it's
anyway.
probably because of the time difference. It was
Oh,
probably
maybe that's it. I
anyway.
have 3 to 5 Eastern time on Thursday and Friday that I was trying to get, but I couldn't
to
because
watch. Yes.
of what's
Okay.
going on. But anyway, okay. So
Diane, can you send us the recording from those conference meetings?
I think that they'll be recorded and that
It's
they will
not come
be
out yet. Yeah.
Yeah, World Beyond War does
I
pretty
did
good.
not register for this one, so
I think
have
Will Be
access.
War tends to send them to everybody, whether you're registered or not.
Oh, good. Thanks.
So, okay. So just to say, Robin, regarding there is an African Union meeting about to or just has happened.
Hmm.
I remember you thought there would be some meeting of some African countries in October.
Oh, yes, yes.
And did I not read that they've been meeting?
Well, let me just mention, and you're bringing it to my mind now, 2 people from Burlington are going to Togo for the Pan-African conference that's going on there in either now or in a week or so. I thought they were leaving the 8th of December. But this will be interesting, I hope, therefore, at our next meeting that I will get from them a report on what this is all about.
But so let me understand. Two people you know
Ellen has
from
been
Burlington.
following this.
Pardon?
Ellen Mass.
Ellen Moss, okay. The person is Janet Beal and Eric Agnero, both interesting political people here in Burlington are They went to Senegal in a group a while back, and now they're going back again to Senegal and then going on, well, to Dakar, which is the capital, where I believe this conference is taking place.
Okay.
So,
They're not Wolf members, but you know them.
right. Yes, yes. She should
Thank
be a Wilf member. A very interesting
Yeah.
person. I'll try to convert her.
Yeah, Ellen has a hand up.
Yeah, go ahead, Ellen.
The what I'm really taken with in terms of Africa, not that I have the direct involvement that Burlington chapter with Robin has, and I'm so glad to hear people are actually going to Togo. But what I'm seeing now from the three Sahel countries, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, and then the other many African states are now following suit and even joining in, whether it's Ghana, Madagascar. They're exposing a great deal of collaboration, corruption, and blockage of the post-colonial connections that have been there for so long. But there's so much turmoil in Africa, and I think we should all follow it, not just from the results of one particular conference, but to really watch in the news. It's all over the news. You can follow it and see what they're doing. Burkina Faso has thrown everybody out. They're keeping their gold. Mali's keeping its uranium. They're not there. It's just amazing how they're seeing that their people have been starving, and the West, Europe, and the U.S. has been raking it in, and to the point where the coup fellow Ibrahim Traore has been able to affect millions and millions of African youth to say, you really have to clean up your act in your own countries, and we'll help you. But he's already been able to do massive renovations, what's the word, redevelopment of his country and make it arable, making the land arable. That to me is revolutionary. You take a Sahel desert and you make it arable, and you're able to make enough money to build. Have they just bought them 250 new buses, and it's exciting, but at the same time, it's complicated because there are many other countries involved with long histories, and uh, but we should all follow it anyway. Thank you, Robin. I think that
Yeah.
you should take the lead. I'm already too deep in all kinds of stuff, so thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, Ellen. That was a wonderful report. I mean, the stories from Traore are so um, glitzy in a way. I sort of wonder whether they're really true, and I keep trying to find other sources of information on Burkina Faso to make sure that, they've built all these irrigation area canals, and they are turning the desert green. I mean, that can be done with AI, can't it, Eileen?
Sure. Yeah, they can do autonomously. Yeah.
Yeah, but they do have all these different African leaders going there, and
Uh,
and my feeling is that he couldn't turn the youth away with fake projects.
yeah.
Mega
Okay.
projects are real, but I think some of those TV channels are fake. Some of the channels, I feel the same as you do.
I just have a quickie. When you mentioned Mali, Ellen, I am reminded I have just piled up a bunch of clothes. Usually it's rugs for a big sale for Healthy Tomorrow. A woman in our branch has spent 2 months, I'm sorry, 2 decades, big difference, trying to stop female genital mutilation. And a law was passed this past year It's just not being abided by.
Where?
But I remember we were worried last year about the wars around the uranium, and I'm glad those got stopped. Thanks for that report. That helped. I'm all set.
Okay, so I think the next item is working with other issue committees, and we don't have Earth Democracy, Jack
Well,
here.
Earth Democracy is what we're doing in New
New
Mexico.
Mexico? Okay, good.
But we
That
were hoping to get a report on the COP30, because what I read was this final report from the conference failed to mention fossil fuels, which sounded absolutely awful.
Yeah, I noticed that. I caught at least 10 hours. Nancy Price is out of range.
Yeah.
I was
Anyway,
trying to be on a call with her a couple of days ago. She's in somewhere in the woods north of San Francisco.
she has no Wi-Fi. So anyway, we did have two workshops, and sooner or later, I mean, Wilf International has told us some about those workshops. When you read your Wilf International newsletter that comes by as an e-news, please, see what they say about COP30, because I think it does tell us some things. But I do hope that you'll just say a little bit about Guan, Diane.
I will, because there are two upcoming webinars that people should attend ideally.
I just put it in the chat,
Oh,
Diane.
two of them, or just the one this Saturday?
That she's put a YouTube thing in.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It's the YouTube of the meeting so people can see what they're talking about. It's the entire meeting on YouTube.
Ah.
You attended it. You're on there.
yes, I did attend it. That's why I'm speaking. And so, yes, they have a webinar this Saturday, and it's on Space. And Tamara,
Oh, yes.
from the one that we have supported a bit, Nancy bit. I think she was justifying her doctorate, and she wrote to everybody at in Guan about how it's been a quite difficult process, but she is at the end of the road pretty much, she thinks. So everyone was congratulating her. But let me get back to the webinar. The webinar is on space, and tomorrow will be one of the speakers. So it's at 1:00 Eastern time this Saturday. And I think, did you all read about it? Did you know how to register?
Well, that's in there in the YouTube.
Well,
But yeah, you should have.
I got it. Not everybody's on that email list, Diane. So I think what I will do, if we haven't already, and maybe Ellen already, Thomas did that, is send the information about that meeting.
Yeah, to all Disarm. Send it out. You'll do that, Cheryl. Send it out in the discussion.
Well, look, if it hasn't been done, and remind me that's next Saturday.
It's next Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the week to make sure everybody does
Right. It looks like a good set of speakers.
Yeah, it should be good. And there were about 5 emails that Pippa put out before she got the right registration link. So, but the last one is the correct one. It worked.
And then one of the members, Olga, with last name that begins with a K, apparently won an Italian Peace Prize.
Yes.
And she is actually a Belarusian. She's from Belarus.
Oh.
I believe. And she, is working outside Belarus for against the Ukraine war.
She was on the call Saturday.
And so yes, but she's been attacked within Belarus. They try to discredit her and what have you. If you read some of those emails that come from the Guan people, but she then just recently won a Peace Prize from an organization in Italy. I just read the headlines. That was it.
So, but there's supposed to be another webinar on the 13th that I have not gotten the registration link to or information about. So we will be sending that out when we get it. I'm pretty sure it's the next Saturday. That was
What's the date? What's the date on
13th
Saturday?
is
No, the
that.
first one.
Oh, the
Next
first one's
Saturday,
this Saturday, the 6th,
6th. Thank you. That's what I
December
need.
6th.
Yeah.
And then the one that I haven't heard about, I mean, I heard about at the meeting, but I haven't gotten information to register is on the 13th.
Okay.
And Ula is in charge of that. And she's trying to get speakers from all over the world, kind of. And there's challenges and this and that, but hopefully we'll be putting information about that out. So I think those are the two major things that I can report on.
Right.
Yeah, I put the thing in the chat because I really highly recommend people, if they can, go to the meetings. Somehow I've missed the last couple of meetings, and I guess being away, but there's the difference between the way they got European women from many countries. And so it gives you a sense. It's just a very nice opportunity to share in their meetings that a lot of international groups don't give you. So I encourage everybody to at least look at that YouTube, because you get a sense of what they're talking about, what their major issues are in Europe. And it might be instructive or even directive. So
the next meeting is January 17th at 3:00 Eastern time. And they have it later because they have Liz Remersall, or whatever, I can't say her last name very well, from Australia or New Zealand. Anyway, she's from that area. She thinks she can get a couple of Australians on the call. So that's why it's at 3:00 Eastern time on the 17th. I will be in Florida, and with my grandchild and daughter. So I don't think I'll be able to attend that meeting, Ellen. So hopefully you can.
okay, all right.
And Gloria usually comes too. And I'm trying to think who else. There often quite a few people from the US.
Nancy comes sometimes.
Yes, she's the one that got the video together. So yeah, she does.
Okay,
So
time.
Okay, so that was my report with Guam. Global Women for Peace United Against NATO. And the next one is radioactive waste, ANA. Pam Richards was here. Pam is still on.
Yes, we would like to hear. I did watch a bit of that meeting because it was live streamed. Pam, I was hoping you would give us a report. Thank you.
Yes, I hear you. I could just get better wits with everything off. Yeah, okay, so it was really good. We really just focused on plutonium because we got a big grant, or a pretty good grant, to train people to make comments when the programmatic environmental impact statement comes out sometime, probably March. And so we'll be letting everyone in Disarm to know when we're going to have those training sessions. I think it's going to be called "Why Is It All About Plutonium?" And it's very expensive, plutonium. Trump is very attracted to it. I mean, the cost per pound is crazy, but he's willing to give away 20,000 pounds of plutonium to corporations, which is just totally dangerous and risky. So it's a really bad idea. We're going to try to do something against that too. We also talked about an increase in tritium production, and so there'll be increased danger of tritium contamination. We did talk about New START, and I'm going to ask for it to be extended for 1 year. We talked about the problem that there may be new testing. Trump is insisting that he's going to start testing again, but it can't be done immediately. It's going to take time to tool up the Nevada test site to do this. And so we have some time to try to stop it. And I'm sure the state of Nevada will be doing something. And it was the Alliance for Nuclear Accountability fall meeting was part of the Uranium Film Festival. And so people were attending that film festival in the evening too. And we did find something about uranium. I was not there in person, but so this also is causing a uranium boom, and all the uranium happens to be on Native American lands or lands by poor people and Latinx people in New Mexico and different areas. So it's really going to be crucial that we can stop this this nuclear renaissance. We did talk a little bit about nuclear power and how they're getting billions of dollars to reopen these shuttered nuclear power plants, and it's very dangerous. Some of them are really embrittled. And it's this company Holtec, which is kind of a shaky. I was reading about it. It's had some shaky deals, but they're getting billions of dollars to. First, they say they're going to dismantle them and take them down, and then they say, "Oh, but maybe we'll put some of these new reactors, the small modular nuclear reactors, which of course are even more dangerous than the large reactors because they use highly enriched, high enriched low assay uranium, which is enriched to a much higher extent than regular nuclear power fuel. Anyway, so we had a lot to talk about. I don't really want to keep going on and on, but it was a really good meeting.
That was interesting, Pam. Thank you.
Thank you. It was 20,000 pounds of what in particular are they giving?
20,000 tons. I'm sorry. 20,000 tons of plutonium to be given to corporations to turn into fuel for nuclear reactors.
So 20,000 tons of plutonium? I didn't think we had that much.
Yeah.
20,000
we have a lot of plutonium. We have a lot. Hundreds of thousands of tons of plutonium in the world.
But is it,
I thought it had to be made.
Yeah,
That's
this
right.
is from,
Yeah.
but this is from old reactors running, and they produce the plutonium, then they store it, right?
A lot of it's at Savannah River site right now.
Okay.
wow.
I'm just writing that down. And so, yes, I read something about this, Trump to encourage commercial companies to make nuclear reactors or restart them.
Yeah.
And billions of dollars, yes.
A solution to the climate crisis, which it is not.
Right. We believe in that point of view. I did, and it looked like you were hosted by an American Indian gentleman.
Yes, okay. So one of our ANA board members is Ian Zabart, and he's the principal head chief of the Western Shoshone Band. And that is, they're located on all the land around the Nevada test site and Yucca Mountain. And there was a short field trip to the gates of the test site. And but anyway, I don't know too much about that, but people did go out there, and he's very concerned, along with the Western Shoshone people, about the possible resumption of nuclear testing, because it is on their land that they have been guaranteed by the Treaty of Ruby Valley. So he's saying he doesn't give any permission for any further testing or storage of nuclear waste.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you very much. It's
There's a lot more, but I just can't.
ANA is doing, yeah. So Eileen, so these ANA people are the kind of people who are worried about some of the things you were talking about earlier that are happening in New Mexico.
Right. Of nuclear weapons production sites or nuclear power plants, and people who are affected communities. So we had a lot of younger people from affected communities too that we gave scholarships to, which our Disarm Committee contributed to. Thank you.
Yeah, good. All right. So maybe
Peggy has her hand up. Peggy?
Oh, well, I remembered a piece of good news in relation to plutonium and nuclear. I got very curious about rare earth elements and did a lot of Googling. And besides the dangerous sources, there were three positive sources. Rare earth elements are very diffuse. I'm sure you already know this, and they're everywhere, but they can be recovered from old magnets and old batteries and old electronic games. And I just think that's good news.
Yeah.
they call them rare earth relative to
Elements,
some elements.
REEs.
Yeah, relative to some other elements in the periodic table.
Yeah, 17 of them.
They are actually not that rare, is the point. When they were first discovered and the old chemists, 100 years ago first found them, they didn't realize just how they actually were all over the place. But sometimes it's more difficult to extract them because they're mixed in with
Right.
minerals. Okay. But this
Harder
is
to
what
extract them than to find them.
yeah, this is what goes into the batteries in your iPhone and things like that, as well as your Tesla cars and what have you. Okay, well, thank you, Pam.
Okay, so we're on to divesting.
Divesting, yeah. So again, I just point you to a new report coming out of ICANN. Well, there was a meeting they had about the role of investors in in a shifting geopolitical landscape. So there is a lot of profit motive behind the nuclear weapons enterprise. Okay, so what ICANN, through a lot of its own projects, tries to do is dismantle that profit motive. Okay, so we should, think about doing. Wolf International has their own movement, Move the Money, which again is in the agenda, and then ICANN is working on it also. So I try to keep up, understand what other people are doing. Personally, I haven't had much time to, do specific things on this, except point out to people that Wolf International is working on it. And so we have this young Wolf group who will be having another meeting. There is a new disarmament working group in Wolf International that Ellen Thomas went to, and I will be going to in a couple of days' time. So
Good.
So there is a lot of work, and because this is a lot of the people forcing these things to happen are because they make money out of it. And so we got to stop the making of the money, the profits, and then maybe they will move their attention to some other profit making activity, let them grow cannabis or something. So, all right.
Okay, so I think we're down to the next meeting will be the 14th of December, and we will not meet December 28th.
Yeah, that's it seemed to the December 28th is too close to Christmas, and I personally will be in France and so on and so forth. So I hope nobody will be terribly disappointed that we missed that one.
Oh,
Okay.
And because Ellen isn't here, we don't have a treasure. But to Eileen, we did send a request that you be sent a check for $70.
I got it. I got it. Yeah. And it's
Fine,
actually
thank
going to
you.
come in pretty handy right now.
Okay, good.
Oh, good.
The
Okay.
last thing is what Ellen Mass wants to tell us about this amazing story of Ellen Scheinbaum.
I'll handle the Mexico thing a little bit. I was there for a month and I'm glad to be back. But the I guess I'm a little disappointed that we still are putting this this issue on the back burner and not really dealing with North America like we should, like I think we should anyway. What's going on in Mexico is quite impressive in terms of the Mexico Trump the battles. It has to do with, of course, it has to do with tariffs, and it has to do with all kinds of conflicts that are happening that relate to the Caribbean and that relate to Venezuela and South America, with Rubio right in the middle of it all. But you really, really need to pay attention, one, on the feminism aspect. They have just done another law, and this is nationwide law with real buy-in. These aren't just someone who she has a lot of power, so she throws out the laws and everybody's rubber stamps. That's not what's going on. Many of the states are 100% behind the kind of departmental interrelationship about protecting women and violence against women. The latest law is so expansive and integral to every aspect of Mexican life. And she's been able to create quite a system of cooperation and interchange that's going on there. And so there are a couple of conferences while someone was talking, I was searching for it and I couldn't find it right away. But it tells you, it has these huge gatherings whereby they bring the people in charge of each aspect of Mexican society to enforce this. And it says one of them is about touching, because you can't, no touching. I forgot the exact phrase it is, but it comes to even the aspect of touching, because you brought it up last time, Cheryl. She had to sue someone who grabbed her, and she was out there. She's very public and very much loving and hugging all the people. So what's happened is a result of her very progressive policies. That's just one small one that I want to bring up because we're so feminist in our organization. The ones that really are creating the turmoil in Mexico have to do with the cartels and the death of a mayor of a city. And as a result of this, and they've already found out the culprit and the bodyguards that were complicit, et cetera, et cetera. But the right wing, the opposition, the PRI and the PAN, these long organizations of conservative opposition that have created the 35 years of neoliberalism there, that was why they got, since 2018, very, very progressive leaders. And now it's Claudia. She's been there a little bit over a year. But she is considered one of the finest leaders in the world today if you take all the countries, the BRICS countries and countries other than just ourselves in Europe. She is considered a leader in Latin America. So if we follow her as this feminist leader, it's great. You can all derive your own opinions. But what Cheryl is referring to in terms of the latest, what happened was three things. One is the truckers, the rich farmers are blocking the roads. And they really are blocking a lot of roads with these $500,000 trucks. And we have them here in this country. You've seen them. And they're protesting the new water law. Well, the new water reform law tells them that they cannot hoard the water anymore. They're not only hoarding it, she wants all water to be public, just like we want it to be. So she's saying, you cannot, not just she, but AMLO before here is saying you can use it for your agricultural purposes, but you can't hoard it and sell it to other municipalities for profit. And that is something that is she's willing to stand up to these very powerful, wealthy, prosperous farmers. And they're able to get a lot of their workers there with them blocking the roads. the other thing is, besides the water law, is the low price of produce. NAFTA forced Mexico to accept their corn, their genetically modified corn that she's tried for years to reject. And she hasn't been able to, but dumping all that surplus genetically modified corn in Mexico means that the prices are down. They have to sell that to the farmers, and that keeps their prices down. I'm sure she's going to change that because they aren't getting fair prices for their avocados or and so that's part of the turmoil. But they're meeting. They're open constantly for meetings. It's the wealthy anti-public water people that are the opposition, and they're part of the PAN and PRI. They're part of the right-wing opposition that is very close to the United States. So the issue that had a little conversation with Cheryl about is the latest. And you can make up your own mind about this. This is all over the internet, and I mean it's widespread. That is, Claudia Sheinbaum and her government are saying, we want our territory back. That's 55% of the Mexican, talking Louisiana, Texas, what is that, Nevada, New Mexico, all those states. She's saying, and they make such a good point. Legally, this is international law for people who are interested in international law.
Well, they'll want New Mexico. That solves the problem.
Well, see, what happened is she sent it to the ICJ, the United Nations International Court of Justice. And they accepted it. And they're going to, because she made such an ironclad case that they had to. It wasn't that they love Mexico. It's just that they have to accept a case if you have a good case. So and she's doing that. Some people say it's symbolic. Others say it, and Brazil, many of the countries, even Russia and China, have not endorsed it, but they've been very supportive that it's a good idea to examine your treaties, because it's called the Hidalgo Guadalupe Treaty of 1846.
48.
And that treaty, they said, was completely illegal. It was like the gun was to the head, and you can't consider a treaty legal if you do that. So it's really fascinating that she has this strategy to say, okay, you're going to give me these kind of problems and threaten to invade Mexico and do all these terrible things. And so we want our territory back.
Yeah. And so I Googled that.
Feminism at its top,
I Googled the particular treaty because even though it's probably in my 30-page report I wrote on treaties, I'm not sure it is. Anyway, I wasn't familiar with it. So if you Google, Hidalgo Treaty, what was unfair, Google will tell you, and that it was, it promised to protect Mexican land grants, citizenship, and civil rights, and none of those things happened. The Mexicans who owned the land lost it. They were not made citizens of the US, and they went through the courts to put off the Mexicans getting anything what they were promised, and then the US was also supposed to protect Mexican settlers from Native American attacks, and they didn't. Okay.
Yeah. There are a couple of excellent documentaries that are already out on just what Cheryl is saying. It's just that you're going to get some now from the U.S. perspective, and it's very complicated. Mexico is going through a very weak and tough state, and they couldn't do what they were supposed to. Anyway, it's...
But you said it's been sent to the ICJ.
Oh,
That
yeah,
part I
they've
didn't know.
accepted it. They accepted it. This is the latest news I have, is that it was accepted.
So because Mexico lost 55% of its land through that treaty. 55% of the
That's
land.
the Santa Ana. You've all heard of Santa Ana and the Alamo, the Alaska. It goes back to that period. If you want to look into all that,
I'm a Texan. I'd like to address this.
You'll be back in
Um,
Mexico.
well, where I grew up it was illegally not even part of the U.S. The line which was settled was the Nueces River, and they just ooched it down to the Rio Grande River and the King Ranch. And anyway, well, the King Ranch you've heard of, but there are several other huge ranches. Um, anyway, it's been a long time, and I think it's wonderful that she has this sense of humor. Um, you didn't mention, Ellen, what to me was the I didn't know about taking this case to the ICJ.
Yeah.
What I noticed was what looked to me like a color revolution, a setup when this mayor who was a right winger was assassinated, and then there was an alleged youth revolt against Claudia, and
no,
making it look like there was a beginning of a maiden revolution, which was from the outside, having seen many of these, very obvious to me. But instead of trying to defend it and argue and be defensive, they just had this huge national day. Within 5 days, they organized such a massive display. Oh, and their symbol. The color revolution always has a symbol. Well, the symbol was a sombrero, and so at the national celebration, thousands of people came in sombreros who were to show their solidarity with the national leadership as opposed to this neo pseudo opposition. I
well,
think they're doing wonderful.
they did
Great
have a big
story.
riot, but they were older people. They weren't the young generation.
Right. They weren't.
But one of the things that you can feel a little bit confident in following the specifics of all this is that they do have a fantastic informational security and safety leadership and secretary who has been gathering up thousands of these cartel members, including DEI, US people who were in there spying. I mean, they are really clear. So they've investigated this riot that Peggy's referring to, and they have found out that they were also Pan and Pre. They were the old neoliberals, and they were even paid to do this. They were even paid, the leaders, to do it because they were just after making a big violent ruckus and knocking down fences. They didn't even have any issues. So I wouldn't compare it to the Maidan of the color revolution. These are people that you could not get together on a particular. She's ignoring it. She's continuing to inaugurate hospitals all over the country. She has got the children doing all kinds of fabulous innovative creative arts. It's wonderful to follow. She's not allowing, and because she has the support is still heavily there, even with some of these murders. Mayor of us, she's the National Guard into this state, and they're actually. She says we're not going to arm small vigilante groups. We're going to build infrastructure for this state of Michoacan, and we're going to make sure that the youth have alternatives. And she's really doing it. They're investing in schools and universities in Michoacan to change it. I think it's just so worthy to follow,
Yeah, thank you.
That's what we have to do, right?
Wow, this has been quite a meeting, and it is time to wrap up. I'm the timer, and I'm sorry to be obnoxious, but it is time.
And
No, Not obnoxious at all.
Okay, I think it's been great. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Was-
Ellen.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
please save the chat if you want to have some of these links.
Yep.
See you in December.
So December the 14th, yes, and please, there's
14th.
an e-news that we've written coming out with again some of the asking you to do some of these things to move forward acts and the War Powers Act and so on and so forth to stop. Now I mean the latest thing from Trump was that he says, oh, airlines should not fly over Venezuela.
Oh, yeah.
He has no control. It's not
Right.
legal for him, but nevertheless he's alerting commercial airlines not to fly over Venezuela, which it would be a precursor to actually going and attacking them. So all right.
Hey,
Thank
please,
you.
please send me information for anybody you know in New Mexico. Put in the heading New Mexico, just so I won't miss it.
Right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Thank you everybody for coming.
Yeah.
And
Tucson,
Well,
Phoenix branch.
have people.
Yeah, they're Arizona.
But yeah, they're Arizona. She's after New Mexican.
I'm into New Mexico, although
Right.
I love Arizona too. I've been to both. Been to Santa Fe, Albuquerque, and Tucson and Phoenix. Love them all. But I'm living here because this is where family was. Ciao.
Right. Okay, save the chat. Thank you. And when we all leave, the recording should stop, I believe.
I think so.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, thanks.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I drive home to Palo Alto tomorrow. I stopped here specifically so I could come to this meeting because I couldn't get home by 4:30. So I'm stopped here in Solvang. Hope to have a nice Danish brunch tomorrow.
Great.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl.